All right, on this episode of Bare Knuckle Bowker, very excited to be talking to an individual who's going to be headlining BKFC on DAZN 3, which transpires on December the 21st, and looking to embark on that first defense of his light heavyweight championship against Mike Richman. Got Jared Warren on Bare Knuckle Bowker, and great getting to have him on, and going to have a few things to chop it up with him about, and just, yeah, wondering how your day's going there, Jared.
Busy, busy, man. Last 2 months have probably been the busiest of my life that I can think of. A lot of people heard about. I was one of the lucky ones who got flooded out by the hurricanes, and it's just added a lot of extra stuff to do. So when I'm not at the fire department, I'm just working on the house, and then I just got to squeeze in my training in between everywhere I can.
Yeah, and just what was that experience like? 'Cause I was noticing an article on the BKFC website talking about that because I mean you're dealing with a category 4 hurricane, and from what I was seeing in the piece, it said you lost all your possessions. Like, can you just give me like a rundown of everything that happened there? Because it just sounds like a wild situation and stuff like that.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely one that you know, caught us by surprise. Like I'm born and raised in Tampa, and Florida's known for hurricanes, but our area kind of always seems like it's been protected and never had anything real serious hit us directly. But yeah, there was two of them back to back, and what was supposed to be the lesser of the two, Hurricane Helene, was the one that got me. So it flooded out my house. Came on quick, came on strong. Um, and it just like I don't know. Yeah, I mean, I guess surprise was the biggest part of it. We were just hanging out at the house, and all of a sudden, my girl Crystal was like, "Oh, there's water flowing in," and it just like started flowing in from the front door and the back door. Hey, guys, stop! Sorry, dogs are crazy. Stop
No
playing.
worries.
Um, anyways, yeah, so it started flooding real bad, and looked out the window and it looked like a lake. And so my breaker panel is on my back porch. I couldn't get to it because the pressure of the water holding the doors closed. So all we could do was I jumped out the front window. Crystal passed over the pets to me. I threw them in the truck, and we kind of just barely made it out. The water level was like, my truck's a 4x4 Ram. It sits, relatively high, and it was like up to my headlights. Thankfully, it didn't stall out or anything. We were able to push through and find a little crappy motel to stay in. And yeah, from then it's just been a rebuilding process. We had to jump hotel rooms and Airbnb back and forth like every 2 to 3 days max, because since a lot of people were affected in the area, they were filling up really quick. So if we tried to extend, they'd be like, sorry, somebody else already booked it. So we'd have to move and move and move again. And after a few weeks of that, fellow firefighters at work offered me his RV that he rents out to people, and that was a huge help, huge game changer, because it doesn't matter that it's tiny and all that. I'm able to park it out front of my house, so anytime I want to work on it, just walk right over, and much easier with having dogs and whatnot. So yeah, man, it's just been a nonstop grind. 24-hour shifts at the department. And as soon as I get off, I just work on the house until dark. And then I go to training, and then I come back and do it all over again. But it's, this kind of stuff, I think, makes you stronger in the long run. And, I like adversity anyways. So it's just one more thing to push through.
And I mean, it's interesting because also within that piece, you were kind of just talking about your mentality around the idea of maybe like pulling out a fight, or like what would constitute like a justifiable situation to pull out of a fight. And I thought it was interesting that that thought never crossed your mind within any of this that's going on? Because I don't think anyone would, question that or begrudge you if you were wanting to do something like that. But then towards the end of the article, it just seemed like there was like a real, I guess, just appreciation for just, getting to compete and just what comes with that. Just like the moment of, getting that belt wrapped around your waist and fighting for BKFC being such a source of happiness and motivation. Like, is this fight almost, I guess, like serving that master of having like another thing to focus on amid all of this? Is that kind of the mindset almost?
It's just that like when I'm at my regular job or doing whatever, like I'm always thinking about fighting, always thinking about competing. It keeps me happy, keeps me excited about life. Regardless of how much work I have to put in to do it, I do feel lucky to be a part of it all and to be able to compete on such a big platform and big stage. And like if I couldn't do it, if there's something physically stopping me, it is what it is. But it's like I still can't, like it's not an ideal situation. But I have a habit of repeating myself. But one of the things I keep saying when this comes up is that, no one said being champ would be easy, and fighting in general, nobody said would be easy. So could things be better? For sure. That doesn't mean that I can't still show up, be in top shape and be ready to go. It's not a any kind of situation where I would use this as an excuse. It's just an obstacle to get over.
And I mean, you mentioned like the whole idea of like, oh, being champion has its difficulties that comes along with it. Like, I guess I'm curious. I mean, it hasn't been super long per se. Like the road to getting the BKFC gold. I mean, double digit fights, some great performances all throughout, but just this timeline of actually being champion since the summer. Like, has life changed a great deal for you? Has it changed at all? Like, how would you characterize that end of it, I guess?
I mean, no, not much has changed. I mean, it's you get the mental well-being of accomplishing a large and long-time goal of mine. But day to day it's still most of the same. Nothing different besides you got buddies who call you champ instead of calling you by your name nowadays. But all good camaraderie stuff. But no, but I love it. And again, I feel like it is such a good time to be a part of it. I started with them pretty early at BKFC 8, and BKFC is really good at constantly leveling up and kind of one-upping themselves. They keep growing, they keep bringing on bigger platforms, bigger names, and anything they can do to make things more exciting for the fans. And I think getting Conor McGregor on board was awesome. There's not a lot of people who doesn't know who he is, and people have different opinions about him, but at the end of the day, man, everything the guy touches turns to gold. So why would you not want him on your team? So yeah, man, it's been cool.
Have you gotten a chance to meet McGregor at this point? Because you see him on social media talking about fighters that, I don't know, catch his attention or different BKFC champions, etc. Have you had any interactions with McGregor before at all?
Not in person yet. I was originally I was planning to go to Spain to support my teammate David Mundell and just kind of being a part of that whole scene. It did look like it was going to be an awesome time, but that was like within days of the hurricane supposed to touch down, so my plans got changed. But no, I haven't met him yet. I'm hoping he'll be at this fight coming up. I see it as a possibility. One, Miami Air is a pretty fun part of town, and this being one of the bigger fights that's going to be on DAZN and stuff, that typically gets a little more attention. But I haven't been told, or I haven't asked either if they think he's going to be there. But you know, either way, and I'm sure if I do meet him, it won't be too much more than a quick bro hug and saying nice to meet you. But it'd be cool to meet the guy.
Yeah, no, fair enough. And you did mention the, BKFC Spain fight. I mean, just what a performance. I mean, a mutual opponent between yourself and David Mundell, Danny Christie there. Just what a performance from Mundell, just really showing just, what the shift guys are built out of. Because, I mean, just Christie has had such a good run in BKFC. His only two losses are, to you guys. So, I mean, definitely says something, I think.
Yeah, man. I mean, Danny Christie. I know he just recently decided to retire, but he, he was a bad boy and destroyed the majority of his opponents. But yeah, man, I do think that we got something different going on at Shift Combat. Just a lot of studs in there, and it's not all coincidence. We got good coaches, and they know how to adjust us and help us move up to the next level. And that's constantly what's going on up there. I mean, only bare knuckle gym to have two world champs, and we got a lot that are like right on that line. I mean, Brandon Allen is one of our guys, and he's been number one contender for a while for 145, and we're not sure why he's gotten skipped for that championship fight, but it can only go on for so long. It's just a matter of time until he gets his shot. And in my opinion, I think we'll have three champs at that point. And even though there's not a lot of girls in the 135 and 145 division, we got Crystal Pittman and Jessica Borgia. They've both been on the rise too, just murdering people in their own rights. So yeah, dude, we got a hell of a crew over there, and I everybody puts in their work, but I do give the coaches a lot of credit. I don't think we would be even close to where we were without their knowledge and tutelage.
Yeah, it just seems like it's a team that fires on all cylinders, like the coaching minds, the quality of the competitors there. And I mean, you mentioned Crystal. I thought it was cool seeing that she got an opportunity to, be in a Misfits boxing championship fight. I really like that about, I guess, a lot of the bare knuckle leagues, like in as far as having those opportunities available for fighters if they want to pursue gloved boxing opportunities or just gloved combat in general. Like if something like that ever came your way, like obviously you're squarely focused on this late December fight, but if something like that were to pop up down the line, would something like that hold any level of interest for you think?
And I know, uh, BKFC is fine with most fighters branching out if they want to in different combat sports, but they do have a pretty solid rule. They don't want their belt holders going
Oh,
outside the organization, which I totally get it. But for me personally, regardless of that rule, I wouldn't be trying to go elsewhere. Otherwise, like BKFC, like they pay us well and all that, but I'm not I'm not just here digging for paydays. Like I strictly do this because I enjoy it, and like I said earlier, like keeps me happy, keeps me motivated. Um, even though the fire department may be on the more exciting side of careers, I've been at it for a long time, and that's even gotten a little mundane for me. So I need stuff like this to keep me going. So I really do, regardless of being a part of the sport, I do think bare knuckle, BKFC in particular, is the most exciting sport for viewers. You know what I mean? Like, there's always a lot of big name boxing matches go on, but I mean, everybody knows you can be watching a world title fight and you can go, make a sandwich and take a piss and you're not going to miss anything. But you freaking blink during a bare knuckle fight and you're like, it's over. What the hell happened? You know what I mean? And, who doesn't enjoy fast paced stuff like that,
And it's kind of interesting because I usually kind of like journal and just kind of like to plan ahead with certain things. And I was noticing that this card is actually the same day as the Fury Usyk rematch. And I don't know that there's necessarily going to be overlap per se, but I mean, could be a situation where, like you said, maybe the, I guess, bulk of the excitement sentiment or like this idea of what people were more exhilarated by. I mean, that could be a good thing to interface with in a sense, like just such a big high level heavyweight boxing rematch.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I didn't even know that they were going to be on the same day, but doesn't bother me even a little bit. I think BKFC's numbers are gonna shine through. Regardless, everybody that has gotten a glimpse of it, they become fans and they love watching it and they start watching all the events. And you know, I think a lot of people that just watch, let's say this combat sports in general, they might get caught up in the idea that just because, you know, those fighters might be making, they're 20 plus million, that wow, it's got to be so much better and it's got to be the most exciting thing in the world. But how many times have you, watched or paid for an event like that and you're just like, you kind of let down. You know what I mean? Like just because just because they're making all that money and are so well known, this doesn't mean that it's going to be as great on the viewer side. So yeah, I'll gladly put BKFC against anybody. We're just skyrocketing it up, man.
And a cool thing that I also like about this event, and I noticed this narrative a fair bit in your last fight when you ended up capturing the title, is just like that presence of just like the grassroots BKFC fighters. Like that also seems to be reflected on this card because like a lot of the big marquee matchups are like core people that were with BKFC, have been with them for a while in a grassroots way, like you mentioned earlier, being with them since BKFC 8. So something to be said for that too, and everything like that. Just the fact that a lot of these like, core guys from BKFC are now like the big headliners for these big events and all.
Yeah, I think they're starting to catch on that, even though it is cool to bring in some people that are, previously famous. I think they're starting to see that they don't necessarily need that. You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of homegrown guys that have really started to shine through and grow their own fan base and you know marketing is a big part of that too. A lot of these guys that I refer to as previously famous, they weren't at one point. They're whether they were with the UFC or whoever, help market them and blow them up, and then you know that's kind of what you turn into eventually as a well known person. So um, even if BKFC is in its infant stages, it's so rapidly growing that I think that there's good opportunity there for some of us homegrown guys to get noticed and maybe get remembered in the long term.
Yeah, for sure. And just yeah, such an exciting fight you have here lined up as well. Like what were your thoughts on I guess just even the bout offer initially coming your way, because Mike Richman, obviously a former interim light heavyweight champion and has also contended for the middleweight belt, still in like a good place within the light heavyweight hierarchy at number 3 as of this recording. Like, what were your thoughts when the bout offer for the Marine initially came your way there?
Excited, man. It's a fight I wanted. It's he's the only guy in the in the top five that I haven't fought before. Um, you know, uh, Rematches, they happen, but to me, they're a little less exciting. Fight somebody that you fought before. Um, and regardless, I think I don't know where he is in the rankings because they magically change so often and randomly. But I do think, to his credit, that Richmond's probably the best in the top five right now. Um, and he does, he's got a good fan base, and you know, I've always liked watching his fights. He puts on exciting fights, so I think when you got two guys that like to come forward, that it makes for an exciting explosive fight. You know what I mean? Like, um, the only time I haven't been able to finish somebody is if they either like run away too much or they just hug too much. And I don't think he's going to be trying to do either of those. So I see I see a fast paced, exciting fight that doesn't go the distance.
Yeah, I mean, both of your track records very much speak to that. And I guess just speaking of track record, like the only losses Richmond has had in all of his bare knuckle endeavors, and he's certainly a well traveled bare knuckle boxer. Like the only setbacks he's had were to Lorenzo Hunt in a fight where he was, really putting it on him initially prior to the finish, but then also your shift compatriot David Mundell. Like, how much info have you, I guess, been able to glean from David for this fight, or is it maybe not a thing you're going to him for in the sense that maybe both of your styles are different, so maybe you would implement your approaches a bit differently, if that makes sense?
Yeah, I mean he's given me his thoughts on it, and my coaches had their thoughts on how to properly deal with his style, and so we just train that stuff. So I feel great about it. It's a fun little competition between me and Mundell because like I said, I fought Danny, then he fought Danny, and the the first thing that I messaged him afterwards was like, hell of a fight, man. I was like, I beat him 30 seconds quicker, but still, hell of a fight. Just poking at him, and he's like, he's hoping that me and Richmond don't make it. Um, before I think theirs was like ended late in the second round or something like that. So he's hoping that it goes three or more rounds so he can shoot back at me, but it makes it fun, man.
Yeah, hopefully we can get Mike Perry in there as like a mutual opponent between yourself and Mundell next year. It seems like there's some discourse about him coming back to, fight in BKFC and everything since that Jake Paul fight he had in July in boxing.
Yeah, that's definitely been interesting. So I don't know the particulars. Like I'm kind of guessing that he still has like a fight or two contract with BKFC, but he's made it pretty clear on social media that he's got his new endeavor, with his own little organization that he's starting, and yeah, so who knows? But me and Mundell have both been vocal about wanting to fight him. Different ends of the spectrum. They kind of got some beef with each other because they had fought before in the past. With MMA, and I don't, they're not too friendly with one another, but um, you know, Perry's always been, nice to me, polite to me. I don't have any prior beef with him. I was wanting to fight him, more on the respectful side, just because I like to text myself, and he's always done well at bare knuckle. And he had brought it up a while back about fighting me on one of his interviews and stuff. And and the same thing, he was respectful as well. It's a very nice call out. Like I had to watch three or four times. I'm like, is he just complimenting me or is he calling me out? But it turned out it was a little of both. But yeah, so that's still something I would love to do if he's ever down. But we'll see. You know what I mean? Like I hate to say it, but I know a lot of times that drama sells better than courtesy. So I could see him and Mundell happening more likely than him and I. But either way, man, if Mundell gets the fight, I'd be happy for him. He deserves it.
Yeah, did you catch any of that dirty boxing stuff, like Mike Perry's promotion? I know it was like a closed off kind of private event, but I felt that Yoel Romero highlight was going around a bit. Like, what do you, I guess, think of the, I guess, presentation, rule set, etc.?
Yeah, it looked cool. I mean, I saw the same thing. Just a highlight reel of Yoel, beating up the dude, and he looked like he beefed up for it. I mean, he looked bigger than normal, and didn't look like it was too much competition for him. It looked like he kind of went out there and crushed the guy. But yeah, the little bit that I did see, looked cool as far as the the ambiance of it and stuff. Um, the rule set, uh, I don't know. Like it doesn't necessarily interest me. Um, I kind of feel like whenever you start mixing sports in a sense, like sometimes you lose fans. Like, for example, like back in the 70s and 80s, like boxing had already been around and been a big deal for a long time. Martial arts was kind of its own thing, and then it became kickboxing. And even though like I started as a kickboxer and enjoyed the shit out of it, it never got a huge fan base to where like those guys were ever making millions. It never got to that. So I kind of think that that's what the dirty boxing is. It's just a couple takeaways from other sports a little bit and mashing them together. But I don't have any ill will towards it or anything. I hope he does well with it. But I don't know. I guess just because I'm such a fan of bare knuckle these days that I don't know, the other stuff just doesn't interest me.
No, fair enough, man. And there's so much for, fans to really enjoy in the bare knuckle world for sure. And kind of noticing the time flying by a little bit, I do want to be mindful of how busy you are, Jared. I always appreciate the time, but also figured I'd give you the floor in case there was any final thought you wanted to add as we're kind of wrapping up here on Bare Knuckle Bowker.
Yeah, man. Just on a personal shout out level, all all sponsors are important and helpful. Um, and I put them on my banner and the normal stuff, but just as a again a personal shout out, just because they've really gone above and beyond. These guys over here at Full Blast, they we just recently got with them within the last couple of months, but one of the main guys that runs it, yeah, it doesn't even have social media. He won't even see this, but he just a really good down to earth blue collar guy, and once he found out like the situation with my house, he's actually he's done a few things for me. Like not only like has he like hired some people to come help, but he's actually showed up himself and got his hands dirty and helped me like do physical labor on my house. And um, that's just again, it's not the norm and it's above and beyond. And it kind of just blew me away that somebody that I haven't known for very long was willing to go out of their way like that. So I don't typically like go out of my way to make a lot of posts. I'm not a heavy hitter on social media. I just that's kind of how I am. I'm a little more low key, but you know I'd be wearing this crap forever, even if they stop sponsoring me, just because how much they've helped me out. And I've known them to help some other fighters too. So just a special shout out to them, man. Full Blast is some pretty next level stuff.
No, I love that, man. That's so cool. I mean, that goes beyond just like a sponsor fighter relationship. It's just incredible stuff, man. So I love to hear that you have that going on in your life and really looking forward to peeping this upcoming fight, man. I'll certainly be tuned in on December 21st, BKFC on DAZN 3, and just such an incredible fight here with Mike Richman, the first defense of the title since you became champion. So a lot of cool stuff going on, and just really appreciate you making the time again with your, busy schedule, Jared, just being a firefighter, champ life, your situation with the flooding, like just really great stuff, man. I really appreciate the insights, and just you enjoy the rest of your day, man. And I'm looking forward to peeping this fight when it goes down also.
Likewise, man. Thanks for having me as always. And it doesn't go unnoticed. We need guys like you too that kind of help you guys help build us up and let people know that kind of a little bit more like who we are as a person. Like on social media, you only see little bits and pieces. So I appreciate getting to kind of chat and be myself on forums like this. So thanks for your time as well.
Oh, well, I love hearing that, man. Yeah, it's just a great sport. So, I mean, we clearly both enjoy I mean, you enjoy participating in it. I enjoy watching from a bit of a distance, but all the same, a lot of love for this bare knuckle game. And again, thanks so much for coming on, Bare Knuckle Bowker. You have a great rest of your day, man. And yeah, all the best. Thank you.
All right, brother. You have a good one. Thank you.